Hello there! Welcome to another Relics of Hyrule video guide video. This video guide video is all about Kakariko Graveyard. So there's another video on Kakariko Village. So if you are here, then you know how to get here. I won't tell you how to get here, but I'll tell you about all the gravestones. So there's 324 gravestones, and over 116 are readable. There's the wiki page that explains where every single one came from. So basically, I'm just going to show you each gravestone that is readable and where it came from and why I added it. A lot of these were submitted by users, by fans of the mod. I offered up the option for people to submit gravestones, and people obliged. Some of these were submitted by me, some of them were submitted by users, some of them were suggestions, some of them were not. I am not taking any more suggestions for the Kakariko Village Graveyard. I did change one gravestone. There's another gravestone that I'm thinking of changing, but I kind of want to just leave them alone unless I decide to change it. But it is not a priority. I don't really want to bother with them at this point. I may change them at some point. But I'm not taking suggestions for anything to go into the graveyard. So with peace and love, please do not submit suggestions for graveyard gravestones. Okay, first one. We're going to start with A and go all the way through until we get to, I believe it's P. There are 324, like I said, but not all of them can be read. So this is A1, this is A2, that's A3. So the rows, the columns are all letters, and the rows are all numbers. So this is A1, it's for Dompe. At home with the dead more than he ever was with the living. You normally find Dompe's shovel right here, right by it. And someone submitted this. Very fitting, in my opinion. Sometimes people ask, where's Dompe? Is he, like, underground? Possibly. Maybe he just made his own gravestone. He was about to dig it. Who knows? Maybe he dug his own grave, popped himself in. Who knows? If people were rain, I was drizzle, and she was hurricane. That is a quote from Looking for Alaska by John Green. I added this because it was kind of like... that's how I felt. That was, teenage love, where you're just like, you think someone's so great, but you feel like you're just nothing. That's how I felt for like 20 years. So I integrated that one. And then they're not readable until A6, which is this one. Mathras Grectus, the ruins of an ancient town, became his grave, sleeping forever in the freezing caves. That was user submitted. And then A11, which is this one. Edward, this headstone cost an arm and a leg. That was user submitted, and it's a reference to Full Metal Alchemist. I'm not familiar with Full Metal Alchemist, but I'll take their word for it. And then row 13 is all Doctor Who. William, thank you, keep warm. That's a quote from The 10th Planet, and it's William Hartnell. So this row, most of them are Doctor Who quotes. And then A16, right here. Here lies a maid who loved thee well beneath the willow tree. That's a quote from a poem by Lewis Carroll called The Willow Tree, one of my favorite poems, and this is a tree. So it's right underneath. There's nothing there. And then finally, A18, Alan, I want to swim in both directions at once. Desire success, court failure. That is a quote by Alan Rickman. I added that when Alan Rickman passed away. So let's sprint on up to B. This is B1. There's nothing there. B2 is empty. B3, my expectations, my loneliness, my fear. For you, my child, I will put them aside. That is from Undertale. And there's nothing until B6, which is this one. We shall wash the dark and blood-red sea, which is from Devil in the Deep Dark Ocean by Nightwish. There are a lot of Nightwish quotes in this Graveyard. And then B7, B8, Gordon, don't panic because panic is contagious. This is actually a reference to a real person. My science museum, we had someone named Gordon as one of our employees, and he was actually in security department, and he gave us training on how to behave in an emergency, and his catchphrase was "Don't panic, panic is contagious." But he passed away, and so I wanted to sort of honor his memory. So that was that one. And then there's nothing until B12, which I believe is this. Catherine, you cannot control who you fall for, nor can you control the paths you both follow. That was one that I added myself. Another reminiscence of, love. Well, crushes and teenage angst. Patrick, no, what are you doing? That's Patrick Traufton, and this is a quote from the Second Doctor. It's meant to be his last words. Same thing with this First Doctor's last words. And then B18 is Yulia. This is for Long Forgotten Light at the End of the World. That is from Nemo by... Oh no, that's from The Islander by Nightwish. That's not Nemo, completely different song. Nemo is in the graveyard, but not on that gravestone. Cassian, C1, make 10 men feel like 100. That's from Rogue One. Worst Star Wars movie ever made. That's a joke. No, I really like Rogue One, so I decided to do that. Added that one, and then C4, Carl, woe to those who stop at the horizon. That's a quote from Sagan by Nightwish. I am tempted, though, to add an actual Carl Sagan quote, but at the same time, I might not change it. I'll just stick with that. Sagan is a really good song. Anyway, C6, Carrie, resentment is like drinking poison, waiting for the other person to die. That is a quote from Carrie Fisher and a sort of an homage to Carrie Fisher. She passed away while this existed, after I added the graveyard, so I added one for her. C9 is this one. Arthur is just a cold. That was just a little joke. It's actually sort of like, it's meant to reference, there was this old game called Mask of Eternity, King's Quest Mask of Eternity, and it had like a joke graveyard kind of thing. And then, missed one. Christopher, at some point in your lives, every one of you will notice that you have in your life one person, one friend whom you love and care for very much. And when that person is gone, there will be nothing like that in your life ever again. That's a quote from Christopher Lee, and he passed away, so I wanted to pay homage to him. John, don't cry while there's life, there's... And that's a quote from Planet of the Spiders. That's the Third Doctor's last words. John being John Pertwee. And then this one was user submitted. Took an arrow to the knee. Of course. Had to be done. So let's run up to D4. Oh no, that's C4. That's E4. This is C4. No, C1. Wait. Okay, this is actually missing from the... Oh, this is D1. Okay, that's E1. I'm losing my mind. Okay, that's D1, D3, D2, D4. Sayori, I want everything to be the same as it always has been. That is from Doki Doki Literature Club. In fact, all 4 of these are from Doki Doki Literature Club. And of course, Sayori is Sayori from Doki Doki Literature Club. This one's my favorite. Nick, this soup is too bitter. There's a Hylian shield next to it that you can pick up, and the reason why I added this was, first of all, I hate nitpicks. I feel like unless they're like, unless someone's like asked you to give polishing suggestions, like I feel like nitpicks need to be offered carefully, and if they're offered just willy-nilly, then it's a destructive process. I just hate nitpicks. But this is sort of a reference to Douchey McNitpick from Nostalgia Critic. And the reason why I have the Hylian shield nearby is because one of the criticisms I always got for the Hylian shield is that it's too small. And I feel like that was stupid. So I added this soup is too bitter, which means someone poisoned it. And there's a Hylian shield nearby. Since then, though, since those questions kept coming in, I have added larger Hylian shields, like the Hylian Guard Shield. The reason why people thought that it was too small is because you can't see it in the first person. That's because it's shaped weird. Okay, anyway. That just really got on my nerves. So I put a Hylian shield there. Okay. And then I do have a plan for the Hylian shield. I want to make a Minish dungeon where you shrink down and you're on a giant Hylian shield. Anyway, D8. Will we find each other in the dark? That is from Beauty of the Beast by Nightwish. And then D9. Dresden, he died doing the right thing. That's a quote. That's user submitted. It's a reference to Grave Peril, the third book of the Dresden Files by Jim Busher. And then we have another one. Lee, you have to be a legend, or to be a legend, you've either got to be dead or excessively old. That's another quote from Christopher Lee. I think he got 2 because of both Saruman and Count Dooku. Thomas, it's the end. That is a quote from Logopolis, Doctor Who. That's the 4th Doctor, and Thomas being Tom Baker. Whatever walks in my heart will walk alone. That's from Forever Yours by Nightwish. And then Here Lies a Man, once called Ned, now we're properly called Dead. That was user submitted. I Wonder What Will Happen. That is from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. And then finally, I Can't Do This Anymore, also from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. The first one was from episode 5. This one was from episode... No, this is from episode 5. The one before was from episode 4. Shoot. This one is from episode 5. This one is from episode 4. There we go. Okay. E1. We have Kevian. Name was user submitted, and the quote is from White Knight Fantasy by Nightwish. Here lies Edmund Blackadder, and he's bloody annoyed, which is from Blackadder Goes Forth, episode 1. And then we got E4, Natsuki, Every Day is So Hard, from Doki Doki Literature Club. And we got The Postman, E6, always kept the delivery schedule as the highest priority. And then E9 is an interesting one. Why are there 2 moons? That's a suspish. That's just something I'm like... Just a little nugget of like, wait a second, why are there... Like, to sort of color the lore a little bit. This one, Jin will take the next chance and the next until we win or the chances are spent. Also from Rogue One, and Jin being Jin Urso. I like Rogue One. Okay. E12, Cadence. Why do I miss someone I had never met? With bated breath I lay. That was from Cadence of Her Last Breath by Nightwish. But it could also be a reference to Cadence of Hyrule, which was unintentional. I added this before Cadence of Hyrule became a thing. And honestly, Cadence of Hyrule, that sounds like a great name for a book that talks about the end of Hyrule. The Cadence of Hyrule. Ooh! Anyway. So I might use that for something. E13, Adric. That is a reference to... It's a quote from The Caves of Androzani. That's 5th Doctor's last words. Peter Davison. By the way, Caves of Androzani is one of the classic Doctor Who episodes that holds up really well. Highly recommend it. Caves of Androzani. Anyway. E17. We are going to die, and that makes us the lucky ones. That's a quote from Richard Dawkins from his book Unweaving the Rainbow. And this is also in the Shadow Temple. No More Songs, that's from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, episode 6. Let's go up to F1. F1, K Winnett, sometimes a thing gets broke, can't be fixed. That's a reference to Firefly. F3, Magda, You Must Not Hurt the Flowers, that's from Breath of the Wild. Yuri, My Heart Pounds, My Heart Bleeds, that's from Doki Doki Literature Club and associated artwork. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes, goodbye, it was always you that I despised, I don't feel enough for you to cry. That is from Room of Angel from the soundtrack to Silent Hill 4, The Room. And then F6, You Are the Moon Pulling My Black Waters, that is Rest Calm by Nightwish. And then this one, let's see if I can get here. F9. He's not pining, he's passed on. This parrot is no more. He has ceased to be. He's expired and gone to meet his maker. He's a stiff bereft of life, he rests in peace. His metabolic processes are now history. He's off the twig. He's Kate the Bucket. I'll shuffle off his mortal coil, run down the curtain, and join the bleeding choir of Visible. This is an ex-parrot. As from the Dead Parrot sketch by Monty Python. Had to be done. And we've got this one. F13, Colin, Change, I Feel It, Our Future is in Safe Hands. That is from an audio story, The Brink of Death. Because if I remember correctly, his original last words, the Sixth Doctor's original last words weren't that great, but there was an audio story that kind of like filled in the gaps with his regeneration. That's it for F. So let's go to G. G1. Ask the Gibbo, Are You My Mummy? That's a partial reference to Doctor Who episode The Empty Child. Are you my mummy? Ask the Gibbo, Are you my mummy? Anyway, this one's my favorite gravestone right here. G4. Monica, good luck, nope. I'm sure you'll do the right thing. That is actually my character's name. See? His character's name is Nope, but if I change it... Gibble. If I can't change it to Gibble, good luck, Gibble, I'm sure you'll do the right thing. So no matter what your character's name is, I programmed this to find your character's name. Surprisingly easy to do. It calls to sort of a bogus... what I call a spreadsheet quest. It's just a quest that stores information. Calls to that, and then takes the player's name and puts it in there. And it's fitting because this is a reference to Monica of Doki Doki Literature Club. And Monica's whole thing, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but Monica's whole thing is kind of breaking the fourth wall. So that I'm really proud of that one. G6, All Life is to Fear for Life. That's from Planet Hell by Nightwish. And then we got G8, I'm So Afraid, I'm So Afraid, which is from Poet of the Pendulum by Nightwish. Look out, there's a monster coming. Jeff is Jeff Peterson from The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. And when he was first introduced, they played a song with those lyrics, Look out, there's a monster coming. So that's a really obscure reference, but Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson was just absurdist at its best. It was just a great sort of deconstruction of late night talk shows. Anyway, we've got this one, Sylvester, I've Got to Stop Him. That's from Doctor Who 1996, which is a TV movie that was the 7th Doctor transitioning into the 8th Doctor. It's the only, like, full-length 8th Doctor story. I really wish they would bring back the 8th Doctor in some sort of on-screen persona kind of thing. Like, they did that. They did a short one, The Night of the Doctor, but I would love it if they brought him back. Anyway, But yeah, so that's a quote from that movie. The last words of the Seventh Doctor and Sylvester McCoy. I just wish the tide would catch me first and give me the death I always long for. Also from Poet and the Pendulum by Nightwish, and it couples with the one that was before it. It couples with I'm Afraid, So Afraid. Yeah, G8. It couples with G8. And that's it. So we got H3. So H1 doesn't do anything. H3, Brandon, It Can't Rain All the Time. That's from The Crow. Brandon mean Brandon Lee. H8. Where is it? She was a soldier's wife, but the war came to her. She lost her life before he returned. I added that. It's actually relatively new, if I remember correctly. Just a little bit of tragedy. Here's one. Don't Cease Your Belief Cycle, which is a corruption of Don't Stop Believing by Journey. And then speaking of the Eighth Doctor, oh no, not that one. Physician, Heal Thyself. That is a reference. That is in reference to the Night of the Doctor, and it's actually originally from the Bible, Luke 4:23. Higher Than Hope, My Cure Lies. That's from Higher Than Hope by Nightwish. Absolutely amazing song by Nightwish. Highly recommend listening to it. It's absolutely amazing. It was written in honor of a fan of Nightwish who passed away. And then finally, in H17, Quinn. Anyone who throws boomerangs has some real issues letting go. Quinn being Harley Quinn, and that's from Assault on Arkham. 2014. Okay, Harley Quinn. Okay, here's one that's going to make everyone just cry their ears out. Iwata, Here Lies a Legend. User submitted, and it's in tribute to Satoru Iwata. And then we got 9. Where is I9? The Hero Who Never Was, Forgotten by the Time He Guarded. That was submitted by a user. The hero it refers to is not clear, but he was forgotten. I11, Beware the Fury of a Patient Man, is a quote by John Dryden. Then we have John, I suppose it makes sense, wearing a bit thin. That is the War Doctor, and John being John Hurt. And that's from the 50th anniversary special Day of the Doctor. And then finally, this one is from a song called Romanticide by Nightwish. God love and rest my soul with his sundown never ending. So now let's go up to J1, which is another funny one. J1. Oh, hi, Mark. They betrayed me. They didn't keep the promise. They tricked me and I don't care anymore. That's from The Room. And oh, hi, Mark is also a reference to The Room, where, the classic meme. I did not hit her, I did not. It's bull crap. I did not hit her, I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Acting at its finest. Erdrick. It's awfully dark in here. I think Erdrick is a reference to something, but this was user submitted. I don't know exactly. And then the next one is J9, which kind of stands out. Royal Handmaiden, Elder of Kakariko, Sage of Shadow, See with Eyes Long Closed. I need to update the wiki because it doesn't have See with Eyes Long Closed. That is a reference to use the Eye of Truth. And then you'll open up this grave, the trapdoor here. And then J10, We Shall Meet the Morning Together. And there's a couple's mask right in between. And Cafe, We Promised Each Other, which we'll get to. But yeah, so Anju and Cafe are buried next to each other. We can assume that they're refugees from Termina. J13, Christopher, Rose, before I go, I just want to say that you were fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and you know what? So was I. That's Christopher Eccleston, and that's the 9th Doctor. There is going to be room for the 13th Doctor when she regenerates, which will be relatively soon, as of recording this video. K1, We were a society dying of too much choice. That's a quote from Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This was added before they made the Handmaid's Tale TV series. K2 SO. There's a problem on the horizon. There is no horizon. Also from Rogue One. I made the name SO because this is K2. This is Gravestone K2, and the character was K2SO. And so this is Gravestone K2, and the name is SO. So K2SO. He was a droid. Alright. K4. I told you I was sick. That was just a little joke. K7. War between him and the day. Needs someone to blame. In the end, the little he can do alone. That is from Amaranth by Nightwish. The full text of Amaranth can be found in Rage, which we'll see eventually. K9, Rolf, he was a good dog. That was something that I added, and you can actually encounter a stallhound named Rolf. He follows what I call she's one of the 3 Keaton kids. She has the Keaton mask, and Rolf follows her around when she wanders the rift. K10, we got Cafe. And I deliberately put K here for Cafe and J for Anjou. You know, Anjou with the J and K with the Cafe. Kidneys. Alright, K13. I Don't Want to Go. David being David Tennant, and that's from The End of Time, Doctor Who episode. And then we have Gregory. He seems fine. But he wasn't. And then Claire, Oh How I Wish for Soothing Rain. That's from Nemo. Let's see here. We got L3. Dylan, they've all got someone else. That's fine, I'm fine. I think the name was user submitted, and that is from Doctor Who episode Journey's End. The 10th Doctor just really tugs at your heartstrings. L7. L7 is Caress the One Never Fading. That's from Amaranth. Right next to the other quote from Amaranth. In fact, this whole sort of section here is Amaranth. So yeah, Caress the One Never Fading. L8, David S. Pumpkins. Any questions? And that's from classic Saturday Night Live sketch, Haunted Elevator. Any questions? L11, my mind is remarkably good at wiping away feelings that are no longer needed. That's actually sort of a reflection from myself. I was sort of... Something that I worked through with... while I was working on Relics of Hyrule was a lot of anxiety and depression from school and from all sorts of stuff that was going on, and so writing this stuff down kind of helped, and it helped to sort of put it into a graveyard and say, okay, that's done. And at some point I realized, or at some point my anxiety got so bad that my brain sort of pulled a switch and said, I can't do this anymore. And if I got rejected for the 7,000th time, my mind would just shove it away because it was no longer needed. It reminds me of Data, when Data was dating somebody on Star Trek. And he says, are we no longer a couple? And she says, no, David. He's like, Data. And he says, very well. I shall erase the appropriate programs, or something like that. Which is just like... Whew. That's hard. Anyway, Matthew, L13. We're all different all through our lives, and that's okay. That's good, as long as you remember all the people that you used to be. That is, of course, Matt Smith, 11th Doctor from the Time of the Doctor. L14, life is a garden. Life is like a garden. Perfect moments can be had, but not preserved, except in memory. Live long and prosper. And that's a quote from Leonard Nimoy. I believe that was his last tweet. Okay, and then finally, in L18, Anne, all I wish is to dream again. That's from Nightwish. That's from Nemo Nightwish. This is all Nemo. So Claire's gravestone, "Oh How I Wish for Soothing Rain," and is "All I Wish is to Dream Again." And then we got "My Loving Heart Lost in the Dark," also from Nemo. So this line right here, "Nemo, for hope I give my everything," that's all. That's the last bit for Nemo. And then this is another one. Anyway. M1. Oh, no. M1. She said no, it wasn't the answer I wanted to hear, but it wasn't the answer that I wanted to hear, but I still felt free, sad but free. Another reflection on my experiences. But here's a nice one to break the tension. Robbie Rotten. "Who did you expect? Sportaflop?" That's from Lazy Town. Robbie Rotten. "Who did you expect? Sportaflop?" You a real villain. Lotto. "Rain in your heart, tears of snow white sorrow." I don't know where Lotto came from. I think that might have been user submitted. That's from Amaranth by Nightwish, as established. And then we have M9. "He ate one too many Miltons. They are very poisonous. Do not eat." That is paraphrased from Game Grumps' episode Fire Red, Pokemon Fire Red, What a Dream, Part 17. Where they do this sort of like improv skit about Miltons and Milton's Milton Factory. Very silly. Mal. She had something locked away. She had locked something away, something deep inside her, the truth that she had once known, but she chose to forget. Limbo became her reality. That's from Inception, one of my favorite movies. And then Peter. No, is it this one? No, it's this one. Peter. "Laugh hard, run fast, be kind, I let you go." And that's Peter Capaldi. That's from Twice Upon a Time, where the 12th Doctor generates. And M18, we already saw, that is "My Loving Heart Lost in the Dark" from Nemo by Nightwish. And then there's N. The entire N column is Nightwish. Oh, no, that's M. N. "Thomas was called from the cares of the world." That's from Poet and the Pendulum by Nightwish. Marco. "He stopped crying at the end of each beautiful day," from Poet and the Pendulum by Nightwish. I need to update the wiki because the C is incorrect. It's Marco with a K. Empu, "The music he wrote had too long been without silence." That is from Poet and the Pendulum. Juko, "Found with a smile on his face," from Poet and the Pendulum. Sammy, stay by my side until it all goes dark forever." That is from Rest Calm by Nightwish. Taria, "My fall will be for you." That is from Ghost Love Score by Nightwish. Annette, "Karis the one, behind Amaranth in the land of the daybreak." That is from Nightwish. That is from Amaranth by Nightwish. This is from Ghost Love Score, if I didn't say that already. Annette is Annette Olsen, who was one of the lead singers. Taria was one of the lead singers. These are all band members. Sammy, Juka was the drummer. Empu, guitarist. Marco was a bassist. Thomas founded it. He's a keyboardist. I'm into Nightwish. Floor, "We are one, we are a universe, forebears of what will be." That's from Greatest Show on Earth, my favorite song by Nightwish. Floor is their current lead singer, Floor Jansen. Absolutely amazing artist. Troy, "Oh no, I do not wish to evade the world, but I will forever build my own." That's from My Walden by Nightwish. I want to actually put the name Troy. Oh no, I guess I put Troy here. I don't know why. The wiki is incorrect. Troy. If you find this line, remember not the hand that wrote it. That's from Dead Boy's Poem by Nightwish. This is Ionia. Remember only the verse. Songmaker's Cry, the one without tears. That's from Dead Boy's Poem by Nightwish. Luca. Being wanted became a frill I never knew. That's from Dead Boy's Poem by Nightwish. Ionia and Luca are references to Greatest Show on Earth. They're not band members. So much more I want to give to those who love me, from Dead Boy's Poem by Nightwish. Ivan, I'm sorry. That is included. Dead Boy's Poem by Nightwish. It's not technically a Nightwish quote, but it's in a Nightwish song, and it's sort of with the Dead Boy's Poem stuff. So it's like, that's Dead Boy's poem. If you find this line, remember not the hand that wrote it. Remember only the verse, the songmaker's cry, the one without tears. Being wanted became a thrill I never knew. So much I wanted to give those who love me. I'm sorry. Sains, time will tell this bitter farewell. Both Ivan, and Sains were submitted by users. Time will tell this bitter farewell. That's from Dead Boy's poem. I live no more to shame nor me nor you. From Dead Boy's poem. I wish I didn't feel for you anymore. Dead Boy's poem. And Nemo, for hope I give my everything. Whew! Okay, so that's the Nightwish column, because I couldn't help myself. Now let's go to O. Unmarked Grave, Son of Mark Grave. That's from Homestar Runner. That a Ghost. My Love. Oh, 06. 06. 06. My Love Will Be In You. That couples with My Fall Will Be For You. That's from Nightwish. Ghost Love Score. Highly recommend checking that song out. I Met You Once. I'll Never Say You Again. I Miss You. Another reflection on things. I'll have to move this one soon. Clara, You're Going to Be Alone Now. That's from Face the Raven, Doctor Who episode. Clara being Clara Oswald. But once the 13th Doctor regenerates, I'm going to have to give this gravestone to her, and I'll have to move Clara over to this one. We have this one. Our Walk Has Been Sublime. That is from Our Decades in the Sun by Nightwish. It's the... The wiki says that Our Decades in the Sun can be found nearby in book form, but it's 2 for Tragedy, which I believe is either an error on the wiki's part or an error on my part. But at the very least, you find a Nightwish book here. That was weird. It looked like there was still an imprint from the book there. Anyway. But yeah, that's also Nightwish. Our Walk Has Been Sublime. Our Decades in the Sun. And then Lonk. I Can't Wait to Bomb Some Dodongos. That's from Wand of Gamelon, of course. You Were the One to Cut Me, So I Will Bleed Forever. That's from Ghost Love Score. My Fall Will Be For You. My Love Will Be In You. You Were the One to Cut Me, So I Will Bleed Forever. That's all Ghost Love Score. Into the Blue Memory is not Ghost Love Score as well. It's Ghost Love Score. Ghost Love Score. P12. Where is it? That's P. Goodness is not about what you do. Goodness is about what you do, not who you pray to. That is from Terry Pratchett. And then P15. Zara, She Didn't Deserve to Die the Way She Did. That is one that I might actually replace. Here's another one for Terry Pratchett. Death isn't cruel, merely terribly good at his job. Whew. And then this is one that I actually changed. This is one that I changed recently. I'll have to adjust the formatting, but this is brand new for version 6.6.2. Severus, always. Before it said Petch and Petch, which I thought was kind of dumb, and so I got rid of it. And replaced it with one that actually matters. Q6, Into the Blue Memory, which we have seen. And then we have Q9. The price of getting what you want is getting what you once wanted. That's from The Sandman, Volume 3 by Neil Gaiman. And then we saw this one already because I peeked at it. Jebediah the Cuckoo Could Not Hold His Weight. The name is a reference to Kerbal Space Program as well as a failure to fly, because the whole joke with Kerbal Space Program is that Jeb, the pilot, is really bad at flying. I may have to move this one to Q14 once Clara's gravestone moves over. Well, I'll have to move it at some point if there's a 14th Doctor. Okay, R1, this is the final row. We got R, Robin, the entire world is forever a little darker, less colorful, and less full of laughter at his absence. That is a quote from Zelda Williams about her father, Robin Williams. And then R5, my tale is of the most bitter truth. Time pays us, but with earth and dust and a dark, silent grave. That is from Bless the Child by Nightwish, not Breath the Child. Breath of the Child. Bless the Child by Nightwish. And then R7, Mary, please bury me with my sister, whether she's alive or not. That's user submitted as a little joke. R11 is Arabella, do not wear black, do not be a widow, be happy, that is how I wish to think of you. That is from Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. And then finally, we have R13, nobody exists on purpose, nobody belongs anywhere, and everybody's going to die. That's a quote from Rick and Morty, really morbid, but then, what do you know, Morty? What do you know? Also from Rick and Morty. And then finally, quote by Robin Williams, the worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone. Woo! Okay, so that is the entirety of the Kakariko Graveyard in its current form. I may remove the Zara gravestone. That's a reference to Jurassic World because the babysitter Zara gets like tossed around and just absolutely like, I don't even know why they chose to do that. Like, just absolutely, like, it's horror, granted, but it's like, why? What does she deserve? Why does she deserve that? But I don't know how strongly I feel about that anymore, so I might remove this one and replace it with something else. I already replaced Q3 with something else, but this is pretty much how the Kakariko Graveyard will be for a very long time. I don't expect to do some sort of overhaul with it. So these gravestones are pretty much as they are. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you found something interesting here. Keep exploring the mod, and hope to see you next time.